What's up, fighters? Sam Battlefields here. Thanks for joining me on my journey into coaching the constraints-led approach, etc., etc. Had a good session this morning. Had a good couple of questions actually from Aaron. So Aaron's one of the white belts. He's probably, out of everyone, he's probably like the latest white belt, but he's also like pure CLA, pure me as a coach, and he, he's come to a ton of these, a ton of my classes, and today was the first time he asked, what technique should I use? And like the goal was, get to mount, get to side control from knee shield. Person on the bottom, their goal was to get underneath and attach chest to hip, or just stand up, right? And now the just stand up part, or just disengage, he did one, and then like just turtled straight up. So turned his back and turtled straight up. So I added a little bit of a caveat on that goal, which is yes, you can disengage, but you have to have your shins and forearms between you and them, right? And that just shifted his whole game, and then he was fucking getting on top, and it was great. But when he was on top in this knee shield thing, he he looked at me and went like, well, what's the technique? And I was like, oh, what's going on here? He hasn't asked about technique as such. And what was hilarious is, I said, look, however you can get round his legs to get to mount or side control. And, like the method that he used, you could not have prescripted a better method, like he just did the thing that was perfect for that situation and got round to side control, and as the readjustment happened, he just went straight into mount. Now, like I ended up having a bit of a chat afterwards, because I was like, here's the thing, man, like not what I was concerned about, but what I kind of felt was that maybe someone had got in his ear, or he'd been watching something, and he's like, well, I should be showing techniques if I'm here. So this is where I think the idea of not giving techniques starts to cause a bit of issue if people are interested in BJJ as kind of a lifestyle. I think that's a good way to put it. Like, people start looking at instructionals because they're like, I love this. He's a bit over 6 months in now. Fairly consistent. I'd say consistently. If you averaged it out 2 times a week, but sometimes more, sometimes less. And he would be at that point now where he's like, I'm starting to feel like I'm getting somewhere. I want to do my own research so that I can start being competitive against these guys who are kind of at the moment kicking my ass because they're more experienced than me. But he's probably out there looking at a few tutorials and that kind of thing, which is great. I mean, I don't care. Like, I'd strongly recommend it if that was something that you felt you wanted to do. But I can tell you now, like, all I'm trying to do with Aaron is like address some of the less ideal attractor wells that he tends to go into, and it's fucking great with him because like I'll bring something up like when, for example, in sort of a snap down scenario, I'm like, you got to keep your posture, and he tends to like when his posture's broken, just try and exit out the back. Now, look, that's fine if you don't have someone that is quick enough to follow you, and he's very quick. He's very quick. He was double legging me early on in the piece, so very, very quick. And so him backing out has not had a bad response for him, but I know that that's something that he could actually turn in his favour because of his speed. So as soon as someone breaks his posture, get underneath, and he was like, oh yeah, I'll do that next time. And I know he's going to. I know he's going to, because I've seen him take something that an attentional focus and then just run with it. It's really cool to see. So yeah, that's about it. I suppose wanted to update. The language side of things. So the idea of like being shown a technique, and I explained that I could give you a sequence of 15 things that you could do, right? But ultimately there's going to be variations within that you have to feel. Like you seriously, you cannot execute a technique without actually feeling that technique. That's without feeling what's going on in those particular conditions. So yeah, anyway, it was interesting. It's something that I might have to address at some stage, I reckon, because if this approach, and there was the Instagram post by some judo guy that we are talking skill versus expertise. Sounded like a African American priest at a pulpit. Skill. Anyway, he was talking about this sort of difference between skill and expertise, and basically admitting that CLA is good for developing skill, but not expertise. And this question about technique sort of raised that again. Like, I don't particularly agree with the idea that developing skill isn't developing expertise, but the idea that you'd be able to label what you're seeing. But again, we're just coming full circle. Like I'm just obviously just coming full circle at this point, because part of the reason why CLA and this sort of thing appealed to me is because it's conditional, not nomenclature based, and so and everyone's got different labels for different things. 10th Planet relabeled a whole heap of stuff. Like all these people are trying to name shit after themselves. They're and they're just like variations on variations of things, and it's all like it's all nonsense, really. Well, it's not nonsense, but it's like you know, Danaher uses the Japanese terminology, and you know, it's like, where does the labeling stop? And so to then think, oh well, I'll reintroduce that into my CLA classes and the like, just so that people can people are not limited to the in-group within the in-group. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's beneficial either, so far out. Lots to think about. So weird, man. So weird that that's something I have to think about. But yeah, look, still injured. Haven't been training for a few days. A little bit under the weather. Usually happens when I stop training. It's like the body goes, oh, I don't have to repair all the fucking damage that you're doing. All right, cool. Well, I'm going to let these bugs that have been sitting in your system take over. So just enjoy a cough and a blocked nose and this and that for the next few days. And yeah, we'll go from there. Whoa. Anyway, much love. Peace.